Hey everyone, welcome to HCH Coloring. My name is Heidi, and today we're doing part 8 of my completed pages catch-up videos. And this one is covering the months of May, June, July, and August of 2025. So let's just get going. First one I have is in A Million Puppies by Lulu Mayo. And I did this page. It was done with pencils. I think it was Prismacolor and Polychromos pencils. And I think that's it for the main. Oh, and the background in the main image was a Crayola Super Tip, I think. And then the background here is a big metallic marker. And then I just used a gold gel pen for this outline. And yeah, I like it. I think it turned out pretty cute. The brown is different for me. I don't usually use so much brown, but I kind of wanted to do something a little different for this one. So that was in A Million Puppies by Lulu Mayo. And then the next one is in Cozy Cuties. This was my first cute and cozy book that I bought. This was in the period when my husband and I and my cat were not living at home. We were having major construction, and so we were staying with friends or staying in a furnished apartment for several months. We were gone for a very long time last year, and so I didn't have a lot of my usual books and supplies with me, and so I might have done some shopping during that time. So one day I went to the bookstore and was looking through the cute and cozy books, and it was, you know, all the rage, and it still is, but it was at the time. And so these are the ones that CocoWyo published with, they're not Amazon books, these are Penguin, I believe it is. Penguin Random House. Yeah. So it's a little bit better paper than the Amazon paper, and so I paged through it and I was like, oh, this is really cute. I'm gonna give this a try. It looks really fun. So I got a couple of these books, and this was the first one that I did. And I had so much fun with it. I really like this style. Again, you can see, like, last week I was talking about how the Art Pop markers that I bought stained. They stain the pages around them. So what I started doing was covering the back with Mod Podge, and that works. So you can see that this page is fine. It does go onto the back of the previous page, but usually it doesn't go through all the way. So anyway, back to the page. Yeah, I thought it turned out pretty cute. I love these cute little scenes. They're so fun, and they're pretty quick. You know, that's kind of the point. And so I used alcohol markers as a base and some pencil for shading. And I also used some paint markers and some Posca. Well, Posca is a paint marker, I guess. Maybe some Jelly Roll, I don't remember. But yeah, so that is my first cute and cozy page. And that is in Cozy Cuties by CocoWyo. And then I have another one. This is in Comfy Days by CocoWyo. This is, think this is, oh no, this isn't. Oh, there's my cat's feeder. That sound in the background. I think this is an Amazon book, although it doesn't say. Usually it says where it was printed in the back. Anyway, so yeah, I think I ordered this from Amazon. So this was, I think this was my second page I had done. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Again, it's stained over here, but it didn't go all the way through. And then I protected the back of the page so that it wouldn't bleed or wouldn't stain the next page. But this was done in May during my birthday month. And yeah, just really cute and simple. Trying to work on my shading with alcohol markers and doing some textures here. It's probably not really that visible with this little, I don't know what this is, but I tried to add some textures to it. Doing some white Posca or whatever, jelly roll accents. And yeah, that was really fun. Enjoyed it a lot. So that was in Comfy Days. And then next we have Fairy Tales and Folklore, and this was new to me right about that time last spring, early spring. I don't remember when this came out, but I got a copy. Actually, I have 2 copies because of, you know, moving stuff back home and not having what I used to have, and long story. Anyway, I ended up with 2 copies. So I did this little cat with the crystal ball, and over here the little flowers in the corner. And this was just kind of trying out the paper and seeing how things worked on it and everything. So this was with color pencils. I don't remember which pencils. There's some Jelly Roll Glaze on there. And I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, right there. And I've got something sparkly here. I think that might be Wink of Stella. Some white Posca, Wink of Stella on this potion bottle. Yeah, so I thought that came out pretty cute. And then I have another page in here. Oops, sorry. This page, and I just did this with color pencils. And I remember these were the Art Pop pencils, which I bought around this time. And they're much nicer. Well, they're okay. They're you know, being pencils, they don't have as many side effects as alcohol markers do. So, you know, I didn't have as many problems with them. They worked fine on this paper. I enjoyed them a lot. Yeah, and I really like the colors that I used in this one. I think it's turned out nice. That was in my first copy of Fairy Tales and Folklore, and then my second copy, I did, oops, I keep bumping that. I did this page here, and this was with Crayola Super Tips. I had just learned about this technique at the time. I think it was on someone's YouTube video, but I don't remember what it was or who it belonged to. Where I based the top with Crayola Super Tips and then went over with a brush with a little water to water that down and give it that watercolory kind of look. And that worked worked pretty well. And then the background is also Crayola Super Tip, I think, with pencil on top. And then the rest is just pencil, I think. This here looks like it might be ink, Derma Inktense, possibly. And then metallic watercolors and Languo gel pens on the rain falling. Silvery rain. So that was a fun page. And then in Alice in Wonderland from Olga Golovishkina. This is an Amazon printed book. I did this page, the first page. And this one was actually based with, I remember someone talking about basing the page with what is it called? Krylon fixative? Some of the nasty toxic spray fixative that I finally gave in and got. Usually I don't like to use those toxic sprays, but I sort of needed to for a couple of reasons. So I got some of that, and I saw that someone had posted a tip of basing your page with that, and then said that the pencils went down really nicely on that as a surface. So I tried that and it worked really well. I think this was Crayola pencils, and they look, really vibrant and colorful. I think I also used fine liners on this, and it looks like I used probably a water-based marker for this green background there. And yeah, so fine liners for some details on some of the shading. Bring that up a little bit. See details. I like these mushrooms on top. I like the colors. So yeah, that's how that page turned out. In Alice in Wonderland by Olga Golovishkina. And then in Animal Odyssey by Chris Garver, I did this pig page, and yeah, there is a flaw on this page, as you can easily see. So in the background, I was using a Bic metallic marker for this, and I made the mistake of starting it, somewhere here, and the pen ran out. Or I don't remember, maybe I didn't start it up here, but my pen ran out, and right here is where I had to stop, order some more because I couldn't find them anywhere. And I had to wait and get those in and finish the page, and unfortunately it made this unsightly line on my page, so not really happy about that. I put some Mod Podge sparkle on top of it to kind of try to disguise it. It doesn't really work all that well, but it's okay. I mean, it isn't horrible. It's just not, it's kind of an eyesore right there. But the pig itself was based with, the main body of it, I think, is just pencil. And I used Crayola Super Tips on some of the flowers. There's some gel pen in there, some gold gel pen you can see on the flower, little dots. And yeah, pretty simple. So that was in Animal Odyssey by Chris Garber. And then the next page is in Magical Worlds by Joanna Basford. And I did this page with these cute little dragons. This is fairly simple. I just used pencils for everything. I didn't use any markers. And then I added some, see if I can get it to show, some gel pens. Gold gel pen, just for the little magical dots. So, but I tried to make the colors cohesive through the whole thing, and I think it works. I like how it came out. And that was in Magical Worlds by Joanna Basford. And then I have Kawaii Cuties. I think this is a Chartwell Books. Yeah, so this is, Shutterstock stuff. But most of them are really cute. I probably got this on Book Outlet, although I don't really remember where I got it. So I did this page. All the little cute foods. This was based with watercolor, or it might have been water-based markers used as watercolor. And then I went over the top with pencils, and I used some paint pens for the accents. But yeah, I really enjoy working on this, and I like how it came out. I remember we were staying with our friends at the time. I remember doing this at their kitchen table. Yeah, it was a little bit difficult finding space and time to work on my coloring when we were staying with our friends. It just, you know how it is. It was a little challenging, but I managed to do some anyway. So that was in Kawaii Cuties. And then I have Goblin Core. This is a book that I think I got this at Michael's when we were staying with friends, and I didn't have very many books. And, I would always be like, I want to go to Michael's and get some new supplies, get some new books. It was driving me crazy not to have my stuff. So I got this book, which is also like a Shutterstocky sort of book, but I like many of the images in here. So I did this little froggy guy, frog with the mushroom hat, and this was based in watercolor and pencils on top for shading. I sort of drew in this line here and made him kind of sit on the ground or something, or a table. And then I did this. I really enjoyed this outside. I don't know if you can see it very well, but I was kind of doing this little cross-hatchy sort of style with the background. I like that a lot. Yep, so simple and pretty fast and fun. That was in Goblin Core. And then in Nature's Joyful Moments by Jane Madej. Remember, this was another one I got at the time at Michael's. And I did this rooster. And I specifically chose this because the friends we were staying with had neighbors who kept chickens, and they had a rooster or two, I don't remember, but one of them would start crowing like at 4 in the morning and would wake me up every day. So I did this kind of as a, maybe to vent my frustration, or as a, like a little keepsake of that time. I don't know, or both. So this was done as, let's see, watercolor base, I think it was, or I can't remember if it was Inktense or watercolor, but one of those. And then I used pencils on top for the shading. And I think I used a reference photo too for this particular chicken for the coloring. And yeah, I didn't do bother much with the background. I felt like it looked okay as is. That was in Nature's Joyful Moments. And then I have one from Desert Wonderland by Rachel Reinhardt. And I did this page. I think this was my first page in this book. And I did it kind of in that style, like make them look like stickers kind of style. So I just drew outlines around it with a pencil, and then used an alcohol marker for the background. And then it is pencil. I think it's maybe base with watercolors. Yeah, base with watercolors, and then I use pencil on top, and then I use some Coliro gold on some of these different feathers for the shiny gold there, you can see. And then I use some white Posca for doing some highlights, and I think that's kind of it. Yeah, that was kind of a fun page. That was in Desert Wonderland by Rachel Reinhardt. And then I have a page in the reverse coloring book Through the Seasons by Kendra Norton. And this one I did. This was done with, this is, where you have the color and then you add whatever you want. And I just added the black lines. So I used a Pentel sign pen, which is the kind of pen that has like a sort of a flexible tip, so you can do different thicknesses. So, and that was fun for this particular kind of coloring. So I have, different line thicknesses there. These are always fun to do. That was in the reverse coloring book Through the Seasons. And then I have another page. I worked in this quite a bit during this whole time. Magical Mandalas by Alberta Hutchinson. And this time I did this page. So, subdued color palette. I think it was, the page looks like it's bubbled, although I think I just used alcohol markers on there for the basing, and then I used some white Posca for the little dots. Yeah, that's pretty much it, but yeah, I like these colors. That was in Magical Mandalas. And then in Arabesque Designs by John Wick, I did another page. I had one in here the month before, or not the month before, in the previous video I covered this one, I think. And then I did this one, which I love a lot. I love these colors, how it all came out. I didn't plan it you know, too much. I just picked pinks, purples, and there's some orange in there too, which, you know, sounds a little strange, but it really, I think it really comes together nicely. And some yellow. So, yeah, and these are all paint pens. These are all, I believe they're all Ohuhu paint pens. The kind with that you have to shake and it has the hard plastic nib. But they're really nice. And yeah, worked well on this paper. Yeah, so that was in Arabesque Designs. And then I have the Altair Design Pattern Pad #1 by Ensor Holiday and Roger Burrows. And I did a page in here. So these are, they're like this kind of thing where you can, you know, make up whatever you want, whatever you see in the page. So I did this, which is quite different, but I like it. It's, yeah, it's not your typical like all over small pattern, which would have been another possibility, but yeah, I really like this one. This was with pencils and ballpoint pens. Yeah, so that was a little bit different and fun. It was in the Altair Design Pattern Pad #1. And just a few more books to go. In Mindful Zendalas by Julia Snegareva. I did this page. And I really love how this came out too. This was with, I think it was Bic Markings, which are now called Bic Intensity, the Ultrafines. Love those markers a lot. And I think that's all I used. I don't think I used any pencil. I tried to use those for everything, for the shading and everything on this page. So yeah, that was in Mindful Zendalas. And then in Kaleidoscopes by John Wick. This is a really simple one. No big deal. It's just very quick, easy, just alcohol markers. I think it was just, you know, in between other pages. I just wanted something relaxing. So there's that one. And then this one, Mindful Meditations. This is a Crayola coloring book. And I remember picking this up at Michael's as well. And this is when we were staying with friends. And I didn't have much to work with at that time, as I have said before. So I got this, and at the same time, I got a pack of I think it's the Michaels brands called Creatology. It was a pack of, I think it was like 100 or 150 markers that looked just like Crayola Super Tips, but they were like the Creatology brand. But they pretty much acted just like Super Tips. So, yeah, I picked up a pack of those, and I did a whole bunch of pages in this book. So that is what these are. Everything I'm about to show you is the Creatology markers and some pencil shading and some gel pens on top of that. So I don't think there's anything sparkly on this particular page. There's that one. And I just did a whole bunch of these in a row, basically. That one. And this one has some, some of those little dot details in there. And then got some gold gel pen on there. That one. And this one I really like. I like these colors a lot. And that one. And this one. I think this is the last one. Yeah. So, yeah, those were in Mindful Meditations by, I don't know who did the art, but it's a Crayola coloring book. And then for our last one, we have Jade Summers 100 Amazing Patterns. And I did this page. This one was a combination of alcohol markers, and I used some granulating, the Gansai Tambi granulating watercolors, like here. Let me see if I can hold it up so you can see. You can see it's kind of like green or blue orange, I mean. Sort of greeny, bluey, and orange. But it kind of adds something different to the page, I think. And there's pencil shading. There's gel pens, sparkly gel pens. Yeah, you can see that at the bottom and at the top. And little white dots with paint pens. And that is it. So that was the last page for this period of time. That was, again, that was May, June, July, and August of last year, 2025. So, starting to catch up a little bit. We still have a few more to go. And hopefully, I hope that I'll be through this series by the end of July. We'll see how that goes. But in any case, thanks so much for being here and for watching. And thanks for your comments and for your likes and new subscribers. And hope everything is going well for you and that you're enjoying your coloring. And I'll see you in the next one.